I hope you guys can hear me all right and see me okay. Um, we have the longest of classes because really we should be beyond beyond any material. So it's really now about your essays. So short class today. Just in terms of you have any questions as you're going through um, uh, beginning of writing. Some of you have already sent, quite laid out um, drafts or at least ideas. If anybody's got any question, some of you sent actually emails today, which I've just replied to in advance of this class. I don't think there's anybody that sent me messages over the last couple of days I haven't been replied to yet. But if you've got any other questions besides what you emailed me, you're all this is your chance to ask. And if you don't, I was gonna say you all get you all get a time off, but Adam and Zubair have taken your time away from you. So Alish, you can blame them both. It's fine. Adam, go ahead.
Thank you, and I apologize for taking everyone's
Don't be ridiculous,
freedom.
man. You have
So,
complete freedom.
question about Salafism as I'm working on my final paper. Based on my research, it seems like you can draw some parallels, though not say that they are identical counterparts to Christian and Jewish fundamentalism, such as ultra-Orthodoxy in Judaism and fundamentalism in Christianity, in that they are about going back to the text and literal interpretations, but also recognizing that those religions are not, they don't have the depth of literature that Islam has in terms of hadith, and that is really the differentiator. So that was something that I was uh, exploring in my paper, as far as bringing in the aspect of how that would relate to other religions in America and their more rigid forms of understanding, but I
Mhm.
wanted your, Dr. Hellyer, your feedback on that.
It's an interesting question. Before I answer it, um, does anybody have any questions related to I don't know, structure, not content? We'll go into content. So Adam's question isn't out of bounds, but does anybody have any questions on structure that they want to get out of the way?
Yes, Dr. Hellyer, one question.
Okay, please go ahead. So Rushdan, Eugene on structure type. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm looking at my paper. It
Yes.
says it has about almost 3,500 words. That's including the bibliography. So without the bibliography, I'm right at about 29, almost 3,000. With that, does that make a difference?
So the word limit is variable by 10%. I will say that the word limit does not include footnotes and does not include bibliography.
Okay, all right. Oh,
Right?
good. All right.
Plus or minus 10%, excluding bibliography. So if you had a 20,000 words of bibliography and footnotes, that's zero.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
When it
All
comes to the
right.
content, and also the front matter, like your name and the course and the title, all of that, put that
All
on the
right.
side. All right. And then it's 10% plus or minus. If you have too little, I'm going to notice that. If you have too much, I'm going to notice that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Eugene?
Uh, I got mine's less about structure actually, and more about substance.
Okay, if it's
Uh,
substance, let me come back to it after I'm done with Adam, so that I don't I show respect to that. Anybody else on structure? Tamam. Okay, so Adam, on your question, people have different takes on this, okay? And I was in London up until this week. I saw my publisher for my new book. You guys would like this new book. Hang on. What's more, you guys are required to read this book for the assessment, just so you know. Okay, otherwise you flunk the course. Okay, not really. Good news about the new book is that although it's an academic book, it'll be downloadable as an ebook for free at the end of next week. What does that mean? It means that we paid the publisher a good sum of money to make it available as an ebook. So, can you guys see this? You can, right? Suppressing dissent, shrinking civic space, transnational repression, and Palestine, Israel. My favorite part of the book is frankly the cover. I love that picture. So I bring this up for two reasons. One, because I thought you guys would be interested in this. The other is that this publisher is Yasser Qadi's publisher on his Salafism book, and he told me it's a good read of about something crazy like 700 pages. So I'd love to tell you, just use the book in your bibliography. Unfortunately, you can't because it won't be out until June. And try as I might, Assalamu alaikum, Shazia. Try as I might, he wouldn't agree to give me a PDF. Surprising that the publisher wouldn't give me a PDF, right? Anyway, but people do have different takes, okay? And you've got to represent those different takes, Adam. Okay, you don't need to pick one of them. If you want to pick one of them, you can go ahead. But you should, as an academic exercise, represent that these different takes exist. So, of course, Salafis don't regard themselves remotely in the way that you've just suggested. Okay, they regard themselves as authentic, and they regard you as wrong. Okay, not, by the way, not just you, كلنا. All right, that's fine, but like that just needs to be represented. Okay. I think that there is a historical similarity between the Salafi movement in terms of how should we put it? Viewing the these blasted stupid bubbles. I can never figure out how to get rid of them. When I do interviews, I actually fold my arms like this because I'm always scared that I'm going to do something with my hands and suddenly there'll be balloons or something that come up in the Zoom. The historical similarity between movements that came about later and decided that tradition was an unnecessary and in some cases an unlawful, yani a forbidden accretion to religion. So you do find, there being quite strong similarities to that basic premise. The basic premise being we got it wrong for hundreds and hundreds of years, so we're going to go back to the origin, which is it's just a very explicit claim, right? It's not just saying we want to be better. We're saying they were all wrong. Okay, like the last 1,000 years, the last 2,000 years, they're all wrong. The Catholic Church is wrong, so we're going to be better Christians than them. And the same thing when it comes to the Salafis and basically Sunni Islam. So it's just about make the argument as you see fit. That's your business. You simply have to try to do so in a way that at least represents what others believe, according to the literature. So it's not about your own personal experience, minimum of that, please. And more about, okay, this is what they claim, this is what others claim, this is what I think based on ABC, if you want to even claim that. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate that.
most welcome. I'm looking forward to your essay. Eugene, you had on content.
Yeah. In my search, when I started gathering together my material,
Mhm.
material was giving me the sense that I was gathering everything that was pretty much spot on with what I was wanting to do. As I was going through it, I see there's a lot of parallels, although and some of the elements that I want to talk about, they do not directly speak to that. Okay, particularly like within the issue of social media and the dissemination of it in the context of the African American community. They more so talk about it in the sense of radicalization, more extreme fractions of the Wahhabia, right? But there still could be parallels, although it doesn't talk about the African American community in that context. And also within the context of just extremism, you can't really say that you can align the African American community with a lot of the extremist elements within the Wahhabiyya, because we don't really see that among them. Although there are some things that come about that can be seen in extreme, but not in the manner that they're discussing. I was able to come up on something about a week and a half ago. I know the brother is his PhD dissertation where he does talk about identity and African American community, which is another thing that I was wanting to look into in terms of how this affects or how it should be able to correct some things. And he does go into that. So I want to use that as well because I wasn't able to line up the timing for the interviews. I got sick and a lot of other stuff that's been going on. I worked 2 jobs. So I just couldn't get the timing to work so I could talk to the people I wanted to talk to. So I'm gonna use his PhD to work on the anecdotal references and ethnographic points that he uses in there because he did a lot of good research and try to work on that. So the question is, being that a lot of the material, although it does parallel, doesn't have direct references. So can I use that in a way that allows me to be able to expound on from my own anecdotal experience from teaching and working with people in the prisons? Because a lot of our students, I say a lot, but we do have students that have had high profile terrorist cases and things of that nature there. We have students who are at ADX. So it makes, I have a much more deeper understanding of some things and methods that we use as an institution to teach and engage with them and bring them out of that type of thinking so I can use that again with the research that I have, the parallels that it draws. So can I use that? Because I know it's going to be some anecdotal conversations in there because I couldn't find material that actually directly connects. But I want to use parallels, the anecdotal experience, and then try to come up with some a call to action kind of like within how I'm having this discussion. Is that going to be acceptable?
Try to keep it to a minimum. And try when you mention the anecdotal evidence to reference it, and you can reference it. You can say student A, okay, in prison B, like keep them anonymous, okay, because you didn't ask for permission from any of these people. But you can mention those conversations as long as you keep them anonymous and as long as it's not too much. Okay. I understand that like there'll be stuff there that is very valuable. But you'll need but I not that you need there's value in having done those interviews you know in a professional format. You haven't really, I mean, when you say this anecdotal evidence, are these anecdotes that came about as you were conducting your own duties as a chaplain? And so, I mean, how did you come across this anecdotal evidence? You need to put that in. You need to try to make it as referenced as possible, and then fine, you can put it in.
Okay, thank you.
I'm looking forward to this very much, by the way. So, tawfiq, inshallah. Um, Zubair, you asked something. Did we go through it?
Not yet.
Bismillah. Sorry, Zubair. My
Right.
apologies.
It's okay. Assalamu alaikum. My
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question regarding, is it too late to send you something to go over before final submission at this point?
Whenever people say, is it too late? It's always too late. Zubair, send me whatever you want to send me. I'll be very happy to see it.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. You should never ask people if it's too late. You should just say, I'm going to send this. Is it okay? You know, what's the expression? Ask forgiveness later. طيب, all right. Anybody else? Of course, please. Bismillah. Your mic is off. Haytham, are you trying to speak? I saw you raise your hand. Oh, your mic is off. I think you're having a problem with the mic. Type. While you figure that out, I'll just let Shazia ask her question. Because don't worry, I have these technical problems all the time. Actually, I had the technical problem on my headphones, which is why I gave up and I took them off. Bas yani, take your time. We won't be going anywhere until you ask your question. Shazia, do you want to ask in the meantime?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome,
And
salam.
said just send it out and ask forgiveness later. So thank you so much for commenting on my email. So just you mentioned about the email that the topic seems very vast. I just want to clarify that I might not go into the whole detail of Wahhabism and everything. I would just want to kind of compare about the interventions, the US policies usually have the effect on the country,
Okay.
where the Islam become the main front, and how its policies kind of hypocrite, being when the Islam USA promote too much democracy, but when it's time for the democracy in other countries, with the
don't spoil the movie. Don't spoil the movie. I want to watch the movie. Okay, so don't, like, you gave me the trailer. That's okay. I'm just saying that Yani, a movie shouldn't be more than 2 hours. You had like 6 hours, okay,
Yes.
and we need intermission in between. An orchestra to keep people entertained in the third hour mark. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, we've got to be careful in that regard. Did any of you see Lawrence of Arabia? واو يعني صراحة يا سيدي they're showing their age معلش بس هنعمل ايه بس so Lawrence of Arabia, by the way, is a terrible movie on like multiple levels in terms of fact. It's a great work of fiction, but very nicely done. It's ridiculously long. They actually have like a point where you watch the movie and it says intermission, and the intermission is like 15 minutes. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, it's not a 45-minute sitcom episode, but you have to keep to the word limit. Inshallah. Type. There was one more hand that was raised. Oh no, but Haytham, I've lost Haytham. Now there's no voice or camera. Oh, you're back. Okay. Did you figure out لا? Okay, طيب معلش. Any question, please email me and I'll answer on email. No problem at all. Unless you figure out the microphone before we finish up. Okay, but you have open invitation. Type. Anybody else? I heard a thumb or something, or a click. Did anybody else have a question? Or maybe it was in the chat. There's a chat. A Hollywood movie, not a Bollywood movie. Some Hollywood movies are really long too. And yes, nobody will be getting extra marks for including dancing videos in the essays. Okay, and oh, this is yesterday's. Okay, so yeah, so it's actually not a Simon Schuster book, but it is in the sense that you know what, we should call it just for the sake of argument, we're going to call it a Simon Schuster book, because I suspect, and let me just check, has it shown up yet? It hasn't shown up yet, but all One World publication books are distributed by Simon and Schuster in the United States. So I do wonder, if they put on their website, because I know that it is that my book on Palestine is so web publication day is being distributed by them, but I don't think it's on their website yet. Probably because it's too early. But it's impressive that Yasus is on the website already. It's not even in their cover. But I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Unfortunately, his will not be, It will not be a whatchamacallit, a free download, what we call open access. That's not his fault. It's because he wrote the book and then just gave it to One World. We wrote the book, but we had support from our sponsor, Hadr. We had support from our sponsors to do it as open access. I will do something else for you, Zabir. There's an event. You guys might want to attend, I don't know. But there's an event that will be at Carnegie and online on Tuesday. So there's the event right there. And if you click on it, if you guys want to know anything about it, you better click on it now, because it'll be gone as soon as we close the chat. And then in there, you'll find links to, like, you know, more information about the book. So I guess the noise, well, the beep was probably from this the chat. Is there anybody else who has any further questions? No? Oh, Cesar. Okay, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Hisham.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
It's not exactly about our final assignment. I was going to ask if I can submit my draft in the next coming days, so I already have the answer. But this is in regards to that. Thank you very much. I appreciate your generosity always. My question is in regards to the offer to have a workshop on public speaking.
Yeah.
That well, we learned that it will not be possible to have it in the spring trimester. Is there a
Yes.
possibility to have it with you any other time? I really regret very much that we were given only 1 or 2 days to confirm. And so that was the situation, I believe.
Okay, so the workshop, if you guys ask for it, then they'll arrange it. So it's a question of you writing to them and asking for it, and then they'll find a date that works with you guys. I don't think, by the way, it was simply about like 1 or 2 days to confirm. I think that there were some who wanted to do it, who could not do it during those dates because it's quite tight in terms of other things that are going on at the same time. In any case, not to worry. You know, you guys can ask them to do it at the next semester, and we can arrange it, you know, at the next time that I'm in town. It's fine. Alhamdulillah. It's just about finding a time that works with your course. That might be next October. That might be later on this spring. I don't know. But if you guys want it, then, you know, you just write to them and you let them know. And I've told them that in principle, I'm happy to do it, subject to there being sufficient capacity, i.e., like they are able to do it, and also that there's sufficient, you know, real interest, because, you know, I'm not presuming that everybody's going to be interested in something like this, because not everybody's going to be doing stuff like this. And some people might feel that they're absolutely, you know, that they already have everything they need, which, you know, that's also fine. So anybody that wants that, just please get write to them, and anybody that you know that does want to do it, then, you know, just encourage them to write to them as well, and that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Habibi. طيب, anybody else? Oh, Haytham, is it working?
Yeah, it's working right now.
Allah. طيب, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. My question, I haven't done it yet. I'm trying to send like 10 critical questions to a scholar who is very expert in that field of Sufism. Is that okay?
I don't understand. What wouldn't be?
Is it okay to add to my essay question I asked a scholar who is expert?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, if it relates to your topic, then, you know, that would be primary research. Of course, when you refer to it, you're going to have to put, you know, reference for it. So, you know, result of questionnaire from so and so, received on this date, and so on. I did exactly that in my PhD thesis, actually. I remember that. I wrote to Tahir al-Alwani, actually, Allah yarhamu, and got back a series of answers. It was an appendix to my PhD, so it didn't count towards my. It was, the appendix will not be counted towards the word limit. What I cited from it was counted from in the word limit, but not the answers themselves, which was good because they were quite long. And yes, of course, you're more than welcome to do so.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go now, inshallah. So the class is officially over. Before you sign off, I ask you to include in your prayers
Inshallah.
many people. The people of Sham, of course, over the last couple of days, the people of Syria, of course, the people of Palestine and Gaza, the people of Sudan. You know, people don't talk about Sudan remotely enough. And we ask for protection for them inwardly and outwardly from all evil from inside and from outside, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum. I think this is our last Zoom class. So this will be our last official class. It will not be our last meeting, inshallah. I hope our next meeting will be in great places, in this world or the next. You will have my contacts. You should feel free to use them at any point, inshallah. And I look forward to reading your essays and to seeing how you progress not only in your doctoral studies, but far more than that, in your professional capacities, which I'm sure when put to the test, the potential of what you all can do is really phenomenal. It's been a great honor to be your teacher over the past few months, and I look forward to staying in touch with all of you. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.